Hello, Foxy Finds here, and welcome back to Foxy Shiny Quest. In going through the gym leaders, I've caught a lot of extra shiny Pokemon, and I even had a few before I started this extra challenge. So this week, we are doing a filler video and letting these Pokemon shine. First off, we have Electric. I covered Dynamo in a previous video and mentioned about how that form can't learn any moves except for something completely redundant. But now that it's evolved, it'll learn a lot of moves through leveling up. This normally isn't notable, but for this Pokemon, it is. Once it evolves further, it stops learning moves through level up again, except for one that happened at level 5. So, in this stage, choose your moves carefully, as you might not get another chance to get them. We go from one community day event to the next, as we go into Beldum. This pseudo-legendary essentially is a supercomputer that is stuck with having 3 claws on one end of its body and an eye on the other, and not much else physically to it. Luckily, it can float around. Unluckily, it can't learn any moves by leveling up, though the move that it started out with changed from Takedown to Tackle in Generation 8. On to a third and final Community Day event, Poplio. These Pokemon are based off of circus seals. To mimic these seals balancing a ball on their nose, Poplio can blow bubbles from its nose and uses those when it attacks. This was my first starter Pokemon in Generation 7 and also, sorry Poplio, my least favorite. It's not that this Pokemon is bad, it's just I like the other ones more. On to Pokemon Scarlet with a pretty rare Pokemon, Feebas. This Pokemon is an ugly Magikarp, and it can only evolve once it becomes beautiful. In the Hoenn and Sinnoh regions, this meant going through the process of maximizing its beauty stat. In other regions, it requires trading it while it's holding a prism scale. These Pokemon are notoriously hard to find, often changing locations from day to day and only being found in certain tiles in the water. Finding a shiny on top of that can be an entire day's worth of just grinding this one fishing spot over and over and over. It definitely is a little bit easier in this game, but it still is fairly rare. Next up we have Minior. This Pokemon is tough to hunt for a few reasons. First off, you can't see that it's shiny outside of actually encountering it because of its outer core. The best way to spot it is to send your Pokemon after it, and when they refuse to attack, you know it's a shiny. The second reason these are tough to catch is they have a tendency to just that. No worries though, I already found another one and okay. Different strategy. I send out a ghost type Pokemon so that Minior can't hit me with Explosion, and that should prevent it from using it in the first place. These Pokemon have 7 different colors outside of the shiny form, and even though the shiny form is always black between them, it is still labeled as one of these colors. For a time, these Pokemon were shown in Pokemon Home to have distinct colors in their shiny form, but this has since been removed for unknown reasons. As we move on to Legends Arceus, we find a Stunky. I already caught one of these in a previous video, so I evolved this one up to Stuntank. These Pokemon can shoot an awful smelling acid from the tip of their tail, which is much more discreet than their previous form, which sprayed from the base of their tail. The idea of this Pokemon damaging its opponents with something that'll make them smell repulsive earns it its dark and poison types for sure. These were also a favorite of Team Galactic, which was the evil team of the Sinnoh region. Lastly, I found Stantler. I spot the shiny, land, and save the game. Seeing the Alpha Weird Ear right there, I assumed I might be knocked out, but what happened was a little bit worse. It ran away before I could reach it. This is why I saved. I reloaded the game and gave this a second try. It was a ways away. I I only had one feather ball. I carefully aimed, watched for the perfect time, and hit the mark. This neon green shiny is hard to miss, though not exactly a fan favorite. Stantler's antlers are sometimes used in medicine, though in nature they are also used to confuse and hypnotize threats, as well as scare them off. Its antlers sort of create a false face, making it look like it might be a much larger creature. This isn't a shiny, but as a little bit of a bonus, after I cleared out the Stantler, I took on the Alpha Weirdeer in what seemed like a mini frenzied Pokemon battle. I had to dodge and throw mud balls at it while it was trying to knock me down. Eventually, I got it dazed, circle around, and hit it with a ball, and I caught it in one. You'll see me use this Pokemon on my team in this game in future catches. That wraps up this week. Next week, we will resume the Gym Leader Challenge, and I'll take on the Sinnoh League. With 3 months left of this challenge, it feels like I'm on the home stretch. Almost there. For now, I've got to get back to hunting these Gym Leader Pokemon. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and as always, happy hunting.